Hello and welcome back to AEF TV in association with Engerati. We're now joined by Evangelos from Yingli, and Yingli, one of the world's largest solar panel manufacturers. So, what are you guys doing at a power project event? I mean, it seems to me at top level, it's, you're just a component.
First of all, solar is getting very important for production of electricity. It's not that solar will change, will remove coal-fired plants or gas-fired plants or any other ones. It will simply adapt and complement the normal production of electricity from natural resources. So, but as a solar panel manufacturer, you don't look only at the component. We are providing as Yingli Solar the solutions from A to Z, which means that we developing projects together with local developers, talking to the authorities, talking to the regulator.
Do you get involved in the financing as well?
Yes, of course, because and financing is one part which actually is there to help the construction of the solar project or the solar farm, and then to operate the solar farm. So from A to Z, everything. And this we are always doing it either alone or with partners. And partners are construction companies, developers, banks, and so on. But the clients will see only one total complete solution, so from A to Z. When you go and you buy a car, you're not interested who is giving you the wheels and who is giving you the color of the car.
You just want a blue car, right?
Exactly,
yeah.
You want a blue car, and it's there that it has 4 wheels and everything. So same story. You get everything from A to Z.
Right. And what, being the people who actually manufacture the panels, does that give you some unique ability that maybe other people who would then have to go out to tender, like, okay, I want to build a solar farm here, now I need to go out. Do you have is there something unique about the fact that you're also the manufacturer?
When you construct a solar farm, I would say almost 50% of the cost of the capex is the panel. So, and that 50%, we control it. So, I control the quality as a supplier, and we control the price of that. And especially inside the production, bear in mind, when we go a little bit down, we do not assemble the panel. We produce everything on the panel, also here from A to Z. So we produce the polysilicon, we produce the wafer, the cell, the module, everything. So you can imagine that the big A to Z that I said is also the big A to Z within the panel. So we can control the quality, we can control the price, we can control everything and make a solar farm affordable.
Right.
Because that has an impact then on your PPA, this has an impact on your tariff and on everything.
Yeah. So one of the other things that is something that we've been covering, which is I think quite important to mention, especially with renewables, they bring a different type of electricity to the grid. It's intermittent and so on. Yes. I mean, the electrons are the same, right? But there is something unique about it. And do you not think that there is a challenge within the grid infrastructure to be ready to utilize the renewable power in the most efficient way? Because it needs agility, and everything needs to be juggled, doesn't it?
Yeah. As you earlier said, power is power, electrons are electrons. Now, when we, with a solar farm, produce electricity, we need to give it to the grid. So, you need to design a grid to be able to carry that volume of electricity that we are producing. And it's like a water pipe. It's like a water pipe.
Yeah.
You don't design a water pipe only for the night water utilization. You design it for your day usage. The same with a network. So you need to design the capacity and the capability of carrying that electrons for the peak time. So the beauty is that on the other hand side, because you need most of your electricity during the day, we are producing only during the day. So you can continue having your conventional energy from coal or gas or whatsoever during the night, But during the day, then we will provide you electricity from solar. But transmission is very important.
Yeah,
It's core.
Yeah. So if it is core, I mean, are you seeing the right level of investment in the transmission networks? And we're here in the African context, so let's talk about the African context, to be able to use the solar panel technology. And when you look forward, the efficiencies, the amount of electricity you're going to produce is going up, right? Is that infrastructure being built, in your opinion?
I would like you to go back to Europe 15 years ago. It was the same problem. Everybody started to produce electricity, and they were independent electricity producers, but with one problem, it was the transmission. So what then Europe did, also they privatized the transmission lines. So everybody then was able, through a license, to build up his own transmission network or to utilize capacities of a transmission network which partially can be owned by the government or governments. So if we can do the same in Africa, then we will solve our problem. You will find a lot of independent power producers. Now, let's find a lot of people who virtually, investors, who we will give them capacity on a network. So they will invest in the network. The network as such physically will be owned by a government or governments, and I simply give them capacity on that network.
So you need
volume.
to create a type of capacity market in order to reward that capacity.
Yes.
And do you not think that within the solar projects as well, where the merits of it are obvious, you can deliver them a whole lot quicker, you can solve a micro generation problem and things like that. What's the role of sort of energy storage and things like that within it? Because I noticed, I was seeing some research the other day where people are starting to build solar panels that have got the battery and storage capacity built in, so you can actually dilute some of that fluctuation as well.
Batteries are what was solar panels, again, 15 years ago. They're now starting. Of course, in 10-15 years, we will have very good batteries where we can be able to store a lot of electricity. Not everything, a lot of electricity. And you see this, you have Tesla working on batteries, you have Toyota, you have IBM. Almost everybody is working on batteries. Either or natural storage of electricity, I mean, through compressed air or whatever.
Like that, yeah.
So batteries will also come. And then we can use that electricity to store solar electricity, to store electricity, and then to give it during the night or whatsoever. On the other hand side, you can use today even electricity, that solar electricity, for desalination or for pumping water. Why not? Instead of pumping water with electricity from the grid, I can have a small solar farm, a huge tank, and as long as I can pump and I can do reverse osmosis of water, then I can store the water. Now imagine, instead of storing water, you store electricity. So batteries will come.
Right. And you're the second person who's mentioned desalination in a power context. And you must be saying that for a reason. I mean, do you think that, is there some sort of missing link? Because, I mean, okay, look, we're sat in a place which needs water, right, and power and stuff like that. Are those conversations linked more than people realize? The whole water and desalinization and stuff like that?
Your body is 80% water, but we are not producing 80% water. So it's very important. And solar lets you produce water all the day, you store it, and then you can reuse it, as I said. And we are not putting enough focus on this combination between electricity production and water production, especially not in Africa, especially not in sub-Saharan areas, especially not in desert areas. And why we need water? We need water because we need to drink it and we need to have agriculture.
Yeah, we gotta live, right?
So,
yeah.
I would love to see more solar farms, huge ones, not for the production of electricity for a grid,
But for the production of water.
Exactly. And I don't see them yet.
Why do you think that is? Is it just because that mental link hasn't been made, or?
No, I don't think so. Today, when you in most fired plants where you produce, you burn gas or you burn coal to produce electricity, a side effect is that you can use that heat and you can do desalination or reverse osmosis or whatsoever. But this is on a central area, and then you simply give it to the pipe. What I'm talking about desalination in remote areas where you cannot transport the water.
So decentralized, yeah.
Exactly. Where you cannot transport the water, and you have very cheap ways to store water. So this is where I would like to see it.
Okay. Well, we can explore that, and there are a few questions that are coming up, but we're coming to the end of our time, so we may not have that. We'll have a chat off air and see how we can explore that a little bit. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you, we are here at AEF, which is the leading get-together of all the power companies and so on. What are some of the things that you're hoping to take out of this event, and some of the conversations that you're hoping to have?
Couple of things. Number one, I would like to see Africa moving much faster into renewable energy. Much faster.
You think it's not fast enough?
No. It's not fast enough because the economies are developing faster than the production of electricity. So what does it mean? And it's not fast means I don't want to see tomorrow morning, but I want to see megawatts being developed within 15, 16. I would like to see desalination from renewables being developed and utilize the normal electricity really for the grid. I would like to see local banks doing investment in renewable energy and not only asking IFC and World Bank and all these guys to come into Africa. There is enough money and I think enough knowledge in Africa to do things. Allow me to give you the example. Look into Egypt. How fast they are going into renewable energy, solar, wind, hydro, everything, and how much money they could collect to explode, to enlarge the Suez Canal. So there is capacity and capabilities, but the governments need to be a little bit more involved in renewable energy.
But you would think that it is one of those things that they would be involved because it's renewables has got this good news factor to it. You know, hey, we're going to do everything with renewables. I remember sitting to a bunch of interviews last year where people say, "Oh, Africa will leapfrog the power thing because we're going to do more renewables than everybody else," and you're sat here going, "It's not going to happen." Almost.
Last year, the problem was also that the cost of doing renewables was a little bit more expensive than it is today. But you will tell me now, but next year it will be cheaper, and the year after it will be cheaper. Why should I start now and not starting in 5 or 6 or 7 years? It's the same game. If you would wait 12 years ago,
it's like
you would
buying
still
a laptop, right?
Yeah, you would still have the same 8088 processor from Intel or I don't know what.
Yeah.
You will be still on MS-DOS.
Yeah.
Okay, so you cannot
wait. It's a different way of thinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need electricity to develop the country, and you need it now. And to build a coal-fired plant or a gas-fired plant or whatsoever, it takes you from the day you think about it until it's online, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. A solar farm takes you 1 year. So, and you don't want to wait 7 years to develop your country. I'm sorry. You want to have it now because now you need...
Listen, and seeing as you guys manufacture this stuff, you could put into your power plants an upgrade path, right? Every 5 years, we'll put in a new set of panels.
I have no... That's easy to be done. That's easy to be done. I mean, we are increasing almost every day our capacity. We buy new production lines. So we were a couple of years ago, we were producing almost 1.2 gigawatts, and today we can reach 4.5, 5 gigawatts of production every year. So we can cover the demand as long as the different countries, the different developers are moving forward on that.
And on that note, we'll leave it. Thank you very much. That's all we've got time for. Thank you very much for watching. It's been another interview with AEF TV in association with Engerati. Thanks again.